to our second Marvel Squad live show where we will be discussing Black Panther.
Yeah.
Found it forever. Yeah, everyone needs to do it. Everyone needs to do it. Jules, do it.
Jules. Oh, sorry. I'm going to live show.
Wakanda forever. Oh my gosh. Oh,
I gotta do rehearsals.
Love and respect for my king. That's right.
Only respect for my president.
Yeah, my president. He's my president.
President, king, everything. Please.
He's king. He's everything.
Ruler of the world.
Yeah, I want Shuri to be president. Actually.
Yes. That's very real.
Okay. Anyway, we're what am I doing? Okay, let's introduce ourselves, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is starting up to be so unprofessional. But yeah, our live shows. Okay. Let's introduce ourselves.
So, my name's Nina. I'm from the channel Demigods Are Dauntless, and I really like this movie. I thought it was amazing and important and so well executed, and I'm a big Marvel fan, obviously, and I don't really know what else we're doing for our introductions, so I think that's it.
Hi, I'm Jules. I'm from the channel Jules Reads, and I really like this movie. I saw it on opening night on a cruise. But it was really good, and I was probably actually one of the few teenagers on the boat that actually liked it, which was kind of unfortunate, but whatever. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was really well executed. Yeah.
Oh, you were one of the only teenagers that liked it on the boat.
Yeah, every teenager on the boat, because we had a teen club on the boat. We were talking, someone was like, who saw Black Panther? And I was like, I did. And they're like, oh, what'd you think? And I was like, I loved it. And they're like, really? It's so boring. And I was like, well, I mean, like, and they're like, it made no sense. And I was like, well, I mean, have you watched the other Marvel movies before? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, that makes sense.
It is.
Well, hi. Welcome. Obviously, I'm Grace. I'm from the channel G-Swizzelbooks, on the channel that you are currently watching this on. And I liked Black Panther. And this is really funny because I also, though I've seen it 4 times, you guys have seen it once, I've seen it 4 times. So that's it. So the big mistake, the moral of the story is if you're gonna watch a Marvel movie and planning to see it multiple times, don't see it multiple times within the first week unless you need closure on how you feel about the film, which is what I needed. But at the same time, I needed to see it because I watched it 3 times, like the opening week, which was cool because I went to the opening screening. So that's one. I went to see it with my friends on Valentine's Day because like I was alone and
single girls.
Yeah. So all my friends were also single, and we were just like, you know what? We're not gonna when like Black Panther is playing, so we need to watch it all together. And then literally later on that week, I went to see it with my mom, and my mom loved it. She adored it. Yeah, she loved it. And then yeah, so I watched it all within the first week, and then I realized this week that I had forgotten a lot about the things that I needed to put notes about, like make notes about, because Thor Ragnarok I watched 9 times, so like I was like I could easily analyze that movie so well. Like I could literally quote half the script, more than half the script actually. But
the entire thing, let's be real.
Yeah, the entire thing probably. Like don't you guys remember my first, our first Marvel Squad live show? I literally opening lines is the funniest thing. I'd memorized it. Like, wait guys, we're doing it. But yeah, so this time I had to refresh my mind. The first time I watched it, I cannot say that I was fully satisfied with it because there are a couple of plot points that I wanted for resolution, and I will talk about that later. But I think the more that I watch it, the more that I like it. And I think that this is a movie, if you don't like it the first time, you've got to watch it a second time, or you've got to watch it more to understand why hype. Because if you're going into it expecting a full fleshed out story, this movie kind of doesn't really give that. I'm really excited to see what the deleted scenes were when they come around. A lot of people find it to actually be very slow, and they're like, oh, it just went on for too long. Whereas me, I felt like it could have had more.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bit more. But that being said, I loved this film. I loved all the characters that were in this film. Actually, not all the characters. There's like 1 or 2 characters that I wasn't a big fan of. Not a part of the main cast, like, you know, all the Power and Killmonger. I loved Killmonger, guys. This is so bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's so sick in
We're
the
gonna
head.
talk about him a lot.
Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about Killmonger a lot. Oh my goodness. And
Yes.
I adore.
Did you see the BuzzFeed article that this girl snapped her retainer because she clenched her jaw too hard when Killmonger took off his shirt? I was like, same. And Michael B. Jordan responded. He goes, I'll pay for your retainer. Did you see that part? He was like, I can pay for your retainer repair if you need it.
Because he posted it. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the movie. I love it more like the more that I see it. Like at first I wasn't disappointed, like not disappointed at the level that I am for Jessica Jones season 2 right now, but anyway. Guys,
Okay.
Anyway. That's what I'm saying. But I wasn't disappointed. It's just I left the theater wanting something more, but then the more that I started to analyze it, even with my friends, the more that I realized that some scenes that I wanted originally to be there, they didn't really need to be there because I did an analysis of it, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
and other people have done analyses of it. But if anything that I really love about this movie is the fact that it has a movement behind it, and the movement is so great. And it's not just like I won't say that this movie does not deserve the fact, like all the publicity that it's getting and all the money that it's getting. It totally deserves all the money that it's getting. And a lot of people are saying that it's the best comic book movie in the world that has been made. In some aspects, I can agree, but then I can't actually disagree when I think about it. Yeah, I can't disagree. Although there were a couple things that I wanted to be in there.
It's still really good.
Yeah, and not only that, the director has only directed 3 movies, and all of them have an over 90 on Rotten Tomatoes. That is insane. And he's 32.
Wow.
He has an impressive resume. And one of his movies, like all 3 of his movies include Michael B. Jordan in them. And I want to see the other 2 movies. My dad, he's
Was it Creed?
Yeah, he's obsessed with Rocky, so my dad went to see Creed and he loved Creed.
What did he direct Creed or was it something else?
What? Yeah, he directed Creed and then he also directed Fruitville Station, I think.
Oh,
it was before that.
Those are both Michael B. Jordan.
They're both Michael B. Jordan films, and
that's a very good resume. I can see why they chose him.
If you go onto Rotten Tomatoes, I think they all have a score of 90 plus. If not, then they're just all fresh, which is amazing. That is honestly so good. And the fact that he was given this opportunity, I love what Marvel is doing. They're giving opportunities to directors that, like, not that they're like not mainstream or anything like that, but
they're just more new.
Yeah, they're more fresh. Like, for example, Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi has only done indie films, mostly based in New Zealand or mostly based, like either in Australia or New Zealand area, right? And they gave him Thor Ragnarok, and he killed Thor Ragnarok, like in a good way, in the best way possible. And I love that about Marvel. They're not, and they don't interfere with their movies. As much as sometimes it can be a pain, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I think that Marvel could have interfered with that movie because it was just, it was too much of, what was I going to say again? It's too much of a, it was too much of a passion project for James Gunn. But then James Gunn is technically making canon and stuff. And yeah, I love the fact that James Gunn loves Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's making his own canon.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of needed to interfere with that movie a bit more. But then again, like, I don't want to compare this to DC, but that's where not DC, that's where Warner Brothers have it wrong. Because Warner Brothers, what they've been doing is they've been interfering with their movies. And
like changing directors midway through.
Because they had no hope for Wonder Woman at all. So they didn't interfere with Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins was like, I'm doing this on my own. They literally didn't care. That's how Wonder Woman succeeded.
Yeah.
That's not how Justice...
Warner Brothers tried to get rid of the No Man's Land scene, but Patty Jenkins was like, yeah, we're not getting rid of it.
It was the best part of the movie. It was the best part of the movie. It was, it was so good. And, like...
Totally did not cry at that at all.
I watched it 2 days ago, rewatched it 2 days ago, and I sobbed watching Wonder Woman. Wow, I'm actually paying tribute to her. I've got a necklace right here.
Don't mind me with my 2 Wonder Woman pop figures over here.
Yeah, mine.
Planning on getting more.
Behind me, right there, and that shelf right there. Yeah, there. Oh, I'm like okay.
So much.
Sweet.
The chat's like really going, guys.
No, I'm so impressed.
That's what
I'm happy.
That's what's distracting me. That's what I'm really liking about this. Everybody's in the chat, and it's awesome. But I think, another thing that I was
stemming off from, or no.
Yeah, another thing.
I was gonna say, like, pulling it back inside. You go.
Okay. To do with the fact that I, at first, wasn't fully satisfied was the fact that the promotional material started coming out during Wonder Woman time. And the reason why Marvel was so smart with doing this is because that they knew that Wonder Woman's audience was going to watch Black Panther because it has a similar message. And so they were like, Wonder Woman's coming out, so let's give them a poster. Let's do this. Let's do that. And if you notice, Black Panther's promotional material came out way earlier than any other Marvel movie out there because of Wonder Woman. And so at first, that's what made me very disappointed because there was too much anticipation with this film. And I'm not saying that I hated it at all because the more that I watch it, the more that I love it. But the first time I watched it, I think that's what made me mad at Marvel for doing that because I wish that it was kind of fresh and I wasn't waiting that long. Especially with the fact that there wasn't complete closure with the movie. But now that I love Black Panther, I honestly don't care anymore. But that was my first initial reaction. So, yeah. Anyway, Nina, you go. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, since we're talking about Wonder Woman in terms of, like, that was such, like, a groundbreaking movie, and, like, this is such a groundbreaking movie, and, like, it just makes me so happy that they're both now out there, like, so...
Yeah, and they were also, like, huge box office successes, too. Like, people thought they weren't going to make a lot of money. And then, like, people thought, like, they were, like, Black Panther was estimated to make, like, 90 million opening weekend. And it made over 300 million opening weekend, which is, like, crazy.
Like, the biggest opening weekend for any Marvel film. And, it's, like, it's breaking all sorts of records.
It's probably going to surpass, I feel like it might surpass.
Actually, not the biggest opening weekend, but it's the biggest opening week. So, the biggest opening weekend is still the Avengers.
It was one of those.
So it's the biggest opening week.
Check.
Oh wait, no, actually, I think you might be right because the weekend. Actually, sorry, it was a long weekend. Yeah, you're right.
No, yeah.
I meant to say day. Yeah. So Avengers.
Yeah, it wasn't the biggest opening day, but it was definitely weekend.
Avengers
was the biggest
opening day. I think that Infinity War is actually going to break the opening day. I hope that it breaks. I kind of hope that it breaks the Star Wars opening days and Jurassic World.
Okay, don't say that about Star Wars. Don't hate on Star Wars, man.
I'm not hating on Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is cool, but, like, Avengers Infinity War, man. Like, that's a big deal. But anyway, but yeah, so the weekend was 4 days. I only just remembered that because we didn't have a 4-day weekend here when you guys did.
I didn't have a 4-day weekend. Wait, no, I did. I lied. I did.
I think we did. I can't remember.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did. Otherwise, I would have missed school. But yeah, we did have a 4-day weekend. I was thinking we had a 3.
Yeah, apparently it was oh no, actually, it was 3, I think. But it came out on Friday.
Yeah, it came out on the Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday. I mean, does it run into Monday? Does it?
Anyway, so
we're spending a lot too much time on this.
Yeah, but it was just like I'm so happy that we now have both of those movies because like even like there was some Twitter post that's like it was a picture of like scenes from Wonder Woman and Black Panther and one other movie that I'm completely blanking on, and it was like 1 year ago we didn't have any of this, and like
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we have
Oh,
all
maybe
of it.
Love, Simon. I don't know.
That was already out, but that I am so excited for as well. Just
Me
like
too.
everything this
So
year has been
good.
going so well in terms of representation.
I know, it's great.
I've seen it. It's amazing. Oh, I love that movie so much. I
Right.
cannot wait to see it again.
It's out this week, right? Yeah.
I saw it like ages ago because they were doing.
Well, you Australians get special privilege.
Well, it's not actually coming out to the 29th here, so it's coming out later.
I
But
want to say it's this
it
week
was a
for us.
special. So the publisher was doing a special screening event. At
Oh, I thought you bootlegged it.
no.
It's like, great. You wouldn't do that.
Oh, but it was so good, guys. But anyway, I think we should, I guess we should move on with the story. How does it compare to the other origin stories in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for you guys?
Sorry, what?
How
Responding to the chat.
sorry, how does it compare to the other origin stories in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to you guys?
I guess it's like inherently different because it's not his full origin story. It's not really. It's like
I
halfway
wouldn't
to
say
an origin story.
origin because we were introduced to him beforehand.
But it's more like
Yeah.
origin to do with the fact that he is now king, if that makes sense.
Yes, it's his king
And, like, it's
origin.
his
Yeah.
origin in terms of like we haven't seen where he comes from, why
It's
he
the
has his
Wakandan
powers.
origin story when you think about it. Like how
Yeah.
first time you're gonna see
'Cause
Wakanda.
even- yeah. Because like even in Civil War, like he was in it, but we didn't even know like if he had powers, what his powers were. Like people knew about his suit, but not really like the
Anything
backstory,
else.
I guess. And like it was just so interesting. I recently rewatched Civil War after watching this, and like there's just so many little things that fit and like make more sense now that I know his backstory and like have seen Wakanda and everything. So that was really cool. But in terms of a like backstory or origin story, I thought it was really well done. I don't know about comparing to the other ones because it's hard to compare because it wasn't full origin. But but I will say one thing is it was original in the other Marvel movies because it also has so much more world building that needs to do compared to the other ones, because this is the first time that anyone's seeing Wakanda. We don't know anything about it. We don't know the culture, anything. So I think part of the pacing issues that at least I had with it were because they had to establish all of that. Whereas other Marvel movies, you jump right in, you're already familiar with the world and you don't have to do any of that. So I thought it was handled very well, but I think that's why it is a slower pace than the other movies.
Yeah, I did like the world building. I felt like, you know, like with the other places, I guess we already knew the world because, you know, like everyone knows New York, or I mean, and everyone knows like World War II, you know, like so they didn't have to like rebuild anything. But I thought it was cool, Marvel like experimenting with the design of Wakanda, because like on one hand you could make it like kind of like the rural place like that was on the outside, or you can make it like the super utopian, and it was just I loved it.
Yeah,
and I don't want to compare either because everything has its own difference, I guess. Like this was like I think the best they could have done for Black Panther. And you know, like it just depends on the character, because if they did so much world building for Spider-Man Homecoming, then I would have hated it because everyone knows New York.
Yeah.
So there's not really much to do there.
Yeah. So as like as some of you guys may know, hi, my name's G-Swizz, and my favorite origin story that Marvel has done is Spider-Man Homecoming. It's my favorite origin story. And but when it comes, so my second favorite one before watching Black Panther was Doctor Strange. I loved Doctor Strange when a lot of people didn't like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is one of my favorites. This movie gave me the satisfaction of Doctor Strange, but a bit more than that, because Doctor Strange really satisfied me. But I went into it with lower expectations. But when I first watched this, it gave me the satisfaction of like, Doctor Strange, but I was still like kind of hoping that it would reach Spider-Man Homecoming level for me personally. But that's because like with Spider-Man Homecoming, everything was included in it that needed to be in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the thing is with Spider-Man Homecoming, like if I can compare this with Black Panther, like in similarities, it's the fact that this origin story also came after Civil War. You've already seen him in Civil War. You've already seen both of them in Civil War. And so you could arguably say that both of these aren't necessarily an origin story, but they technically are, because it kind of originates the character. It originates where they come from. Like in this universe, this is the opening door to their world. And I liked that a lot. I loved the fact that Black Panther also had that, as well as Spider-Man Homecoming. And so, yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming will always be my favorite until a movie, an origin story beats it. Maybe it's just because of childhood nostalgia. That's probably the reason why. But I read some not Doctor Strange, sorry. We're not talking about Doctor Strange anymore. Black Panther comics recently. And I've actually linked, I think, what's his name again? Tahisi or something like that. So I've linked his first volume down in the description if you want to go check that out. The Book Depository links down there, as well as The World of Wakanda. I have not yet read The World of Wakanda, but I heard that a lot of the influences that they had for this movie came from those comics. So if you guys want to check them out, you can. I think that before watching this movie, those comics would have been very hard to read. There were a lot of people that were very disappointed in them. I wasn't personally, because I had already had some background knowledge about Wakanda and about Black Panther. I almost said Doctor Strange again. What the heck? I know, this is so bad. But yeah, so having that pre-knowledge of Black Panther before going into Black Panther was handy, because then I was able to memorize where everything was, yeah, like all the terms that they used as well. Like there were many articles that actually came out of what you need to know before going into Black Panther that came out as well. But I was able to pick it up very quickly, and I love how this movie kind of also made it very easy. Some people need to watch it a couple more times to memorize people's names. There's so many people that still don't memorize like the characters' names. Like, oh yeah, that person that's played by Lupita, or this person that's played by Letitia Wright or something like that. I'm like, oh,
I know the main characters' names. I don't know. I don't know like I don't remember like the Forrest Whitaker's character. I don't remember his name. Zuri? Okay, that wasn't that hard. Okay. And I don't remember Daniel Kaluuya's character either, and I feel really bad about Wakabi. Yes, Wakabi. That was stuck in my brain. I do know M'Baku though, because all the memes.
It's a very cute name. I see that name as like something that you'd name your teddy bear. I don't know.
Oh, Nina, did you get cut out?
Let's go. Hello, Nina.
Hey, gotta love school Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we should actually talk about the characters more now.
Okay.
So let's start off with T'Challa. Obviously, he is the star of the show.
Okay.
I personally feel like he was overshadowed a lot, actually. I think that's another reason why I didn't leave the theater fully satisfied. I kind of wanted more to do with him, but at the same time, we did get a lot of him in Civil War. Nina's out. Oh
no! Okay, she's back.
Nina's back. Oh. This is gonna happen the whole time.
It should be good now. I think I did something with the app when I was reconnecting. Sorry.
I was saying about T'Challa, I felt like he was overshadowed a lot. Although the more that I watch it, the more that I realize his character development and the importance of his character, and how like when he went to see his dad in the ancestral plane. Yes, that's what it was. I almost felt so ashamed of myself for not remembering.
I was about to say the upside down, and I was like, no.
Upside down.
I watched Stranger Things today.
Stranger Wakanda. Stranger King.
Straight Wakandan things. Okay, anyways.
But yeah, no, when he saw his dad said to him like he's like, tell me how to be king or something like that, and he's just like, you are a good man, and it is hard for a good man to be a king. And I think the more that I watch that scene, the more that I realize that yes, like he might have been overshadowed, but he still had a development arc in this movie, and he's very ruthless in Civil War, but he had to realize like throughout this movie that he is a good man, but he's still got to be king. And him being a good man may be a burden, but he's still got to be good, if that makes sense. So, what are you guys' thoughts on T'Challa?
I loved him. Yeah, I really like that dynamic where like I feel like it's almost a classic dynamic. Like you can't be a good person and be king, but I feel like by the end, he kind of showed that you could be, especially since he learned from Killmonger and like opened up the borders and said like, no, we're going to take that hard line. We're like, not that hard line, but we're gonna accept people in and like reveal ourselves to the world. And I thought that is kind of like the good person thing to do.
Yeah, that is a good person thing to do.
Yeah.
How that like affects like what that does going forward, because obviously it is going to mean kind of bad things for the Wakandan people. Like I can't see that not having bad consequences, but at the same time, like that doesn't mean that he's a bad king or like has done something wrong. And I'm just like very interested to see where they take that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I'm going to go on the more comic side of things because you guys said the serious things. So I'm going to go on the funny side. It's really there's a meme about this. It's the only way I know about it. I remember this. So like in Civil War, he was like the very like suave, like don't mess with me, nobody can touch me kind of thing. But like in the movie, he is the biggest dork and literally gets roasted by everyone. And it's so funny to me that, you know, like this is his kingdom and everyone's just like, oh, there's T'Challa, the dork, you know, the nerd.
Yep.
And so it's just, but everyone's just like, oh, King T'Challa, oh, you're so important. And when he's outside of Wakanda, but everyone in Wakanda is just like, oh, this nerd again. What do you want?
Yeah, and I think that also plays into like his relationship with all the other characters was so great.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
I mean, everyone's on a first name basis. Like even Okoye calls him T'Challa. Like it's kind of like
and she's
like even like and even you can tell that everyone definitely trusts him, and even like that whole ceremony thing where like he had to let himself be challenged, like he didn't automatically become king like any of the other like segments of the tribe could challenge him. Like no one except the like mountain people
in Baku, really but then he was like, yeah, I don't want to kill M'Baku, and that eventually saved his life. So
but even like the fact that none of those main other 4 tribes like challenged him, I think shows how respected he is in the community and like how good of a person and like that they respect him a lot. So
or at least like him enough to keep him around.
That was his good, like his first act of showing that he was a good person. He spared M'Baku, and the fact that he did that really said a lot about his character. And it was good because that came to play later on in the movie, and that was technically foreshadowing. Like a lot of there was, oh my goodness, there was this there has been a phenomenon where people actually know. I'm going to save this point because we're going to be talking about Killmonger later. We're not going to talk about Killmonger now. Anyway, I will get back to this point afterwards. But speaking of the fact that his general is on a first name basis with him, let's talk about Okoye. I like that Okoye, she was the general, and she knew that T'Challa was king, but she was willing. Did you hear Faith scream?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my baby sister. If you guys don't know, if you're watching, I have a 4-year-old baby sister that loves to scream at random times. So
she's adorable.
She's adorable, though. Anyway, as I was saying, she is willing to question his authority anytime. Like, and she's strong enough to do so, and it's not like he won't have it. It's not like he won't, like, yeah, I feel like he kind of fears her in the way,
Yeah.
but it's great. Like, it's so good because it's very empowering as well. And I feel like Faith screaming again, my goodness. But I feel like I said before, T'Challa in some sort of ways was overshadowed, but it wasn't always in a bad way. And I like that Okoye got to shine in this film, and the fact that she was so great in this film, they promoted her to be in Civil War, and I'm happy about that because
You mean Infinity War?
no, it's Infinity War. My goodness, wow. Oh, G-Swizz, what's up with you today?
It was one of the guards in Civil War though, and it makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, that was Ao.
Yeah.
Or you'll be moved. That was so good. But yeah, Ao, I think was in this movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was. Apparently, there's a deleted scene between her and Okoye.
Yeah.
Of them just like complimenting each other.
But then I don't know if Okoye is actually. Okoye, I don't know if she ever gets in a relationship with Ao. But I know that Ao is. I think Ao is lesbian. Yeah, and that actually is talked about in the world of Wakanda, which I've linked in the description if you want to. That. But yeah, so I think there's not a novella. What am I saying? There's an issue in that comic explaining Ao's role, except Ao is actually an antagonist. Yeah. So her and I think her partner, I think one of them was imprisoned and the other one is trying to get revenge on Wakanda or something like that. That's the story. And so they can use Ao as a future villain if necessary.
Yeah.
There. And but I'm kind of hoping that they do actually. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
But anyway, Okoye was great. What do you guys think?
I loved her.
I loved her. I loved all the like strong female leads in this movie. Like just the fact that his main like squad of warriors were all women was just like phenomenal, and I loved it so much.
Yeah. Apparently, they were based on real people. Like it was based on like a real thing that was actually in Africa in the 18th century or 19th century.
Yeah.
The king had female warriors and they were like his last resort. So we're like, okay, these girls are gonna go unleash hell because they will kick your butt. And they were apparently like it was during slavery, so they were like trying to prevent their king from getting enslaved. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like they're actually based on real people. And then I loved Okoye. I loved her meme line, would you kill me, my love? For Wakanda without hesitation. That was one of the best scenes in the world.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I also love the rhino. She literally just stands in front of the rhino and he's just like, oh, there's mom.
Yeah. I was so proud of her in that moment. She does not deserve a scumbag like Wakabi. She does not. Oh. Yeah. Wakabi is, oh man. Okay, this is one thing, this was one gripe that I had about the movie, which I was going to mention later, but I'll probably mention now. The fact that, so there was a relational tie between, obviously, Okoye and Wakabi. And I literally forgot about that until last minute. When she's like, my queen, my love. And then I totally forgot about that throughout the whole movie until she held that spear to him. And I feel like they only did that, as much as it was good and it was like an emotional moment, I felt like they only did that for that emotional moment because there was literally no depth between.
If we had seen more of their relationship, then I would have been like, that would have been more of a heart-wrenching moment. But instead, it was just like, heck yeah moment.
Yeah, kill him. Woo.
I mean, I would have been fine either way. I mean, emotional moment or heck yeah moment, I'm fine.
Yeah, I would have been fine, but then it's just, it was kind of, like, I felt, I hate pointless relationships that aren't explained, so I think that's one reason. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, they're together. Oh, I totally forgot. Oh, yeah, I don't feel too much in this moment. And I wanted to feel more in this moment, but I literally only just remembered watch that scene for the first time. I'm like, oh, they're together. I totally forgot. the more that I watched it, I just got really like Wakabi is my least favorite character in this movie. I do not like Wakabi at all, and I wish that they kind of did a couple more things with this character. I might explain that later, but yeah, we're talking about these front row characters. But yeah, anything else to say about Okoye?
I love the wig snatch.
Yes,
with like
I was
when
excited.
Jules was saying like how they're might be based on like a real culture, but like also I like that it kind of reflected that part of Wakanda where like since they've been isolated from the entire world for like
they have like
ever.
no sense of racial or sexist or boundaries or anything, you know, like, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like they have no discrimination or hate.
Yeah.
They all love each other for who they are, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and it kind of shows an example for the real world. Hey, like it's for the real world how we should treat everyone. You know?
I was also reading an article on like how it's like what Africa would be without like colonialism, like if we hadn't gone in and interfered, like how it could have developed potentially, which is also interesting. I don't know, just like a very empowering message, which I loved.
Yeah, it's a movie that can teach us a lot.
Yeah,
so good. Oh man, I love it. I loved it so much. I guess we should talk about Nakia now. I don't know if we've mentioned Nakia that much actually. About this, a lot of people like
we mentioned her once.
That are like, oh, she didn't do too much for the movie, but no, she's the real MVP when you think about it. Because listen to Killmonger, they didn't listen to Nakia, but the reason why is because Nakia didn't have the following behind her. She even like there was a part where T'Challa's mother, the Queen Mother, was like to her, she said, you should take the heart-shaped herb because you know when the 5 tribes were going to
she could have done that.
He was I think in charge of the River Tribe. Yeah, so she was the contender for the River Tribe, and she chose not to challenge that day, and so she could have done that, but she said but I don't have an army, because even though she's like a front runner of that tribe, she's a spy. And so she doesn't have too much relations with her tribe. She's a fish out of water. She's the like kind of a standalone character in a way. She's a very individual character, so she doesn't have too many relations with her tribe because she takes missions. She's a spy. And so that was very interesting to see, like, what if Nakia did have powers? But I did mention this recently because I think, like everyone is mad that Storm is not his love interest, and I was mad. I was very mad at the fact that Storm wasn't put into this movie, or they didn't wait for Storm to like the rights.
Well, I mean, Grace, you and me were talking about that. You were like, I was talking about, you know, like maybe Storm could be introduced. I mean, because the Fox deal was only announced in November, and by that time they had already wrapped up Black Panther filming. Yeah. So they couldn't have exactly done that. So that wouldn't have really worked.
But what I was saying was they could have actually, like, at first I wanted them to wait. I wanted them to wait to see if they could get a deal and not give him a love interest in this movie, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I
think it was
originally
too far into production. Yeah.
And so I was
I mean,
it was either that I wanted Nakia to have like similar powers but not be called Storm. So that's what I wanted originally. But now I don't want that because, like, first of all, like, I think T'Challa and Storm break up in the comics. So
yeah, they divorce.
They divorced because I think, like, so they were on different teams. They were on different sides. They wanted different things. They had their differences. But it was a comic book. It was literally one of the most popular weddings out there.
I have a comic book guide that literally has like their wedding in it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But I love the fact that he's with Nakia because like the reason why she was his ex to start with was because that I don't think that she wanted to be queen. That's not what she wanted. She wanted to help people.
Yeah.
She didn't want the spotlight necessarily, but she loves T'Challa, and so she has that conflict within her, and she still loves him. But the fact that he at first didn't see her vision, I don't know if she could she could be with him to that extent. But now that by the end of the film, he sees her vision, and he wants to bring out her vision and actually get her to do that social work to help people, like the Wakandan outreach centers. The fact that he's opened that up, not just for her, but because of what happened, is great. It's awesome. And the fact that he did that for her was just so good. And now you can see that they are endgame, and they should be endgame. Nothing should happen to them. Nothing.
I mean, what me and Grace were talking about after the Zenith live show was that, you know, like, I'd be okay with the Storm romance, because Grace was saying that in the comics, Nakia was originally a villain. So maybe if they take that arc and make her into a villain, then I could see a Storm and T'Challa thing happening. But other than that, if you know, like, if Nakia's here to, you know, if she doesn't turn evil, then I want him to be with Nakia.
But it's kind of impossible for her to turn evil at this point, because all she wants is good. And the reason why,
I mean, it just depends.
It's possible.
Some kind of like mind control
in the comics is nothing like Nakia here. Nakia here, like, actually cares for people, whereas Nakia in the comics cared about power. So she was in love with Black Panther. So she was with T'Challa. She became obsessed with T'Challa to the point that it was unhealthy. But she's obsessed with power in the comics. The only thing that movie Nakia takes away from comic book Nakia is her name. That's all she takes. And the fact that she was a former lover of T'Challa. So I think that all they wanted to do was to give, like, Nakia's not even that popular in the comics too. So the fact that they just wanted to make comic book fans happy, and I think that they only just wanted to take her name, and that's it. But yeah, I don't see her becoming a villain, because the way that she's been set up, she's nothing like comic book Nakia.
Yeah, but I like that they did that, because, I mean, I haven't read the comics yet, but it sounds like I like that T'Challa was able to have a love interest, and, like, Nakia was perfect in the movie and, like, such a good role model, and I like that they transformed her in that way, based off of what I'm hearing. But
she doesn't, I think, fall under that side girlfriend trope that Jane Foster did. Oh, yeah. I'm very bitter at the fact that they wrote Jane Foster like that. So that this was going to happen in the movie, and it didn't, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah, also what I liked about T'Challa and Nakia is that they were exes, but they were still, like, really supportive of each other. You know, he was just like, hey, my dad died. It'd really be nice if you could be there. And she just goes, yeah, of course. And they were, like, supportive of each other, and they helped out, and they still were, like, friends. So I thought that was good as well. You know, like, they weren't hateful towards each other because they had good reason to separate.
Yeah. Well, you could see they didn't even need to explain why they separated. After a while, when you do an analysis of it, you realize the reason why is because that isn't the life that Wikia. My goodness, Wikia. That isn't the life that Nakia wants. Like, literally, when they're walking through the streets of Wakanda, she's just like, like, you, if you weren't so stubborn, you'd be a great queen. And she's like, no, I'd be a great king because I am stubborn. And after that, he's just like, but, and then she's like, but that is, like, what was it again? But if that is what I wanted. And so that's, I think, when you start to see, like, okay, the reason why is because she has a different vision from T'Challa in the kingdom, and she doesn't want to actually be a queen because of that. She more cares about her mission, like her calling. And by the end of it, T'Challa is more supportive of her calling by actually giving her an opportunity to reach me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to why this movie, like, works so well in terms of, like, its world building, because we were able to have a romance that was, like, built up through the movie because they were exes, but they still have that backstory, so it doesn't seem like insta-lovey or like we don't know them well enough. Like, we know that they have a connection and a shared history, but we haven't seen that. Like, it's just a really well done way that kind of also works perfectly with that. Like, it's a origin story, but also not really. Like, there's definitely more to the story that we can unpack later.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Anything else to say about Nikia?
No, I want to get on to Shuri.
Killmonger time.
He was next.
Or Shuri. I don't know. Who are we going for?
Are we going for Killmonger or Shuri?
Huh?
Are we going for Killmonger or Shuri?
Yeah, Shuri was next.
Okay. All right, sweet. I can talk about my Shuri memes.
Oh, the Shuri memes are so good, guys. Have you a new still I think came out in these past 2 days of like Shuri meeting Banner and Scarlet Witch. And if you guys see my Twitter, I
have not seen that. Wait, I need to check your Twitter. Hang on.
Do you want to read it out for everyone?
Yeah, hang on. I just need to search you up.
I want to hear your reaction. I want to hear your reaction to what I did. It's like a couple of. You need to scroll through my my disappointing Jessica Jones
thread.
Spoilers are up there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Shuri's
okay. Oh my gosh, too many Jessica Jones things. Never mind. More Jessica Jones. Oh, yeah. You have 7 PhDs, but none of them taught you how to fly an alien spaceship. Weak. Is that it?
Yep. Reference to Ragnarok. Sorry, I like making memes. Anyway, yeah, that was random. But Shuri has been proclaimed in the MCU at least, not in the Marvel comics necessarily, but in the MCU, she's the smartest person in that universe, which is insane.
So cool.
It's so cool. She's what? She's like 16, 18.
She's 16.
It's insane to think that a 16-year-old knows how to do that, knows how to make a weapon like that. And I'm really excited to see what she comes up with in future movies because, yes, those gauntlets and stuff, they didn't really work on Killmonger. But what she's going to do, she's going to make her battle armor better. And there's an Easter egg. Do you guys know that Shuri eventually becomes the Black Panther?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, she eventually becomes a Black Panther. There's an Easter egg there when they're like this tribe will not challenge today, and then afterwards they're just I think they say like, will any of the royal family members like to challenge? She raises her hand. That is an Easter egg. So, but then she's like, this corset is too tight, so let's get on with this. Like
me, and everyone was like, oh God, this girl.
Raising her hand was an Easter egg to comic book readers because she eventually does become the Black Panther. And I don't know if it's because that T'Challa dies. I think it's because that T'Challa
maybe he's too injured or something.
I think
or like he's older and he wants to be king and like just focus on one thing.
That's not what it is. It's the fact I think T'Challa is now focused more on the Avengers and more focused on that side of the world. So that's
she stays back with like
they're not that far apart in age. They're not that far apart.
But that's the other thing because he like all those flower things are gone now.
That is concerning.
I don't.
Maybe they'll regrow. Maybe.
I think Shuri the smartest person.
Maybe Shuri will probably maybe in Infinity War like she could like talk with like Banner and Tony. She's like, hey, we kind of made this. We had this flower long ago that made us like super amazing. Like, do you think you guys can maybe like recreate that? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, if you give us some of your tech.
Yeah, I don't think that she's gonna become the Black Panther so soon, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's probably gonna be like later.
I think that's gonna be an end of a second movie thing to a third movie in the trilogy.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about some memes real quick from Shuri. Okay. So like this one's for Infinity War. So you know how in the trailer, you know, like Bucky has like a brand new arm and it's like so high tech and cool. And then it was like a Bucky versus Steve's tech. It was like T'Challa's like, here is this brand new arm that Shuri made for you. It is specially designed for you with all these different aspects. And then Steve is like, here, lol, have a shield. And Shuri made it when she was like 4. You know, like it does look like she's something she made. And then I don't know if you guys are updated on your Marvel meme culture, but there's some memes going around about Peter Parker and Shuri becoming best friends, and I totally support that so much because there was this one where it's just like them watching Star Wars, and Peter just mutters like, "Man, it'd be so cool if you created some of this tech." And she just whips out a lightsaber. She goes, "I already have."
Yeah. You know what I really want? I want, you know, the car chase scene. That they had? I want her to do like something like that for Peter Parker in the future.
Yeah, for Ned, so he could be the guy in the chair.
She could be the guy in the chair. Sorry, I love that reference too much.
Okay, yeah, but if you're not updated on the Shuri and Peter memes, go look at them because they're top notch. It's like them at Disneyland, like T'Challa and Tony versus Shuri and Peter. Yeah, it's really good. I totally support that friendship, like 110%. I feel like they'd be best friends.
I
I want to
wait
see
for everyone to meet in the next one. Like,
I think there was one where Peter came home from like hanging with Shuri, and Aunt May's just like, "Where'd you get all this stuff?" And he's like covered in vibranium, everything. He's like, "I made a new friend."
See, that's the other thing that so now that Wakanda is like public to the world, it'll be interesting to see if, like, I'm assuming that every Avenger is gonna have a vibranium suit after, like, going into Infinity War.
Maybe during Infinity War, after Infinity War, or something.
And especially now that there's the tech out there to destabilize vibranium, and that could like be made into a weapon, I think there's no way that that's not going to play a role in the next movie.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Also because like Peter Parker's suit looked so different in the trailer. So did Tony's. Like they're just very.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
then again, 5 years have
they
passed.
look a lot like Black Panthers. So
I mean,
I'm excited.
Yeah, 5 years have passed, but still.
Yeah. And then also, I can't get over these wing things that are on Iron Man's suit, but that's a whole nother discussion.
We should probably get on to Killmonger before we reach 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I was
what he
say.
looks like. He flipping looks like what, Buzz Lightyear.
To infinity and beyond.
Infinity Wars.
That needs to be the tagline for Infinity.
To infinity war and beyond. Grace, are you okay?
We're gonna make memes. We're gonna be rich. Okay. Let's talk about. Okay, I really want to talk about Shuri more, but I've got.
We gotta get on to Killmonger.
No, we're gonna go on to M'Baku.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like Killmonger is like I feel like we could talk about Killmonger for like 20 minutes, and we only have like 10.
Killmonger, but we're gonna talk about like the good guys first, like if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
We've got like 2 more points till Killmonger, so we'll be there. So M'Baku, he was good. Like what's his name again? Winston Duke. He's good. Small. He's a very small actor. I think he's mostly done TV shows and stuff, but he was really good in this movie. And oh man, like M'Baku really did steal the show. Like because a lot of people going into this film, I watched too many like theories and Easter egg videos. They had no idea where to put M'Baku in this story because what was it? So you already had Ulysses Claw and you had Killmonger, and they're like, okay, but what does M'Baku have to do with this film? And the fact that he, I think T'Challa and him had that fight earlier, and then he ties into his plot line is literally foreshadowed, was great.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it a lot. But yeah, anyone else want to say anything about M'Baku?
I thought his wolf cry was cute. his grunting.
It's actually a gorilla cry.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm not too sure if a white person wrote the comics, but at first it came out.
No, it was a black person. The only reason I know that is because there was this meme going around. It was like the original writer of Black Panther was told to add more white people, so he had Black Panther fighting the leader of the KKK.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like his character, M'Baku's character, because they could have gone. They had to be very careful with his character because in the comics he's known as the Great Gorilla, and that can come out as racist. So they had to be very careful. They had to tread very carefully with his character, and I think that they did it very well in this film. I was actually very concerned. I was worried as to how they were going to work it out, but they did, and I think it worked out very well, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That makes sense.
yeah. I mean, especially because you had Ryan Coogler direct. Like,
I think we lost Jules.
he's working
Oh,
on it. But yeah. Jules is back! Yay!
Yeah, it keeps cutting out. My Wi-Fi's getting weird too.
Yeah! Woo. Yeah, so the fact that they tread carefully was good. And I really loved his one-liners. It's like, silence, or I feed you to my children. Jules?
Yeah, and then Ross was just like,
Vegetarian.
okay.
Oh, it was so...
I loved the set design of his little mountain place. I thought, also he was just like, nah, never mind, we're vegetarians, and that was so funny.
Yeah, I love, Winston Duke played him so well. He like, his delivery was great. I appreciate his scenes mostly because of his delivery and his comedic timing. It was very good. So, yeah. Anything else anyone want to say about M'Baku before we move on to the Tolkien White Boys?
Tolkien White Boys. Nice.
Or did you guys move
good.
on to the Tolkien White Boys? Jules! No! Or as we would say, brother!
Does this keep happening?
At least it's for a short amount of time, not like mine.
Yeah.
Okay, Tolkien White Boys now?
Yep.
I guess. What?
I didn't see the point in Martin Freeman's character too much, other than the fact that it helped.
He just like gave like a little bit of background on Killmonger. That was literally it.
Yeah, but it helped his development, like to the point that he jumped in front of Nikia when like.
I liked that scene. I was like,
yeah,
because I think he's kind of needed as like the outsider to help reveal Wakanda to the world and like seeing it through his eyes.
Yeah.
So I feel like his story arc was kind of needed, but
yeah.
Like, and I guess it makes sense that like a CIA operative would be kind of on the trail of what's going on with like Claw. But
yeah.
If you guys want to check my Twitter, I just posted that To Infinity War and Beyond meme. So
yes, thank you. Anyway,
you're welcome.
I will retweet it. But yeah, I liked the fact that we got someone that was from the other than the fact that we, how they've got little tie-ins, but at the same time, and also the fact that he was a pilot and he used that, but
yeah, that was cool.
He was kind of pointless. Other than that, and yeah, it's good for the development of some other characters, but I feel like he was the least utilized character.
Yeah, he could have been used more. I didn't mind him. I didn't hate him. But I would have liked him more if he was like actually had more of a purpose instead of just being like, "Hey, I'm a white person. Here I am.
Do not scare me like that, colonizer." Yeah, that was hilarious. And also I think, the I never broken white boy to fix, like that was perfect.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I was like, and people were just like, "What? I don't get that." And I was like, "It's Bucky." The kids at the cruise, they were like, "What do they mean by another broken white boy to fix?" And I was like, maybe if we watch Civil War, things would have made more sense.
They should have watched the end of Civil War to understand.
Yeah, but and I explained to them, I'm like, Black Panther took in Winter Soldier to try and help fix his brain, and they're like, "Who's the Winter Soldier?" And I'm like, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah, definitely. And Ulysses Claw, man. I wanted more from him only because he was set up as a villain in 2015, Age of Ultron. We waited for him to be killed in the middle of the movie. That was kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it kind of it helped Killmonger shine. That's great, because Killmonger was a great villain. But like, Ulysses Claw is a psycho. Like, he's a complete psycho, and I think it would have just been so interesting to see more of him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he was. Oh my goodness. What's his name again? The guy that plays him. Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis.
Good job with him. My goodness. Oh, It's amazing.
Dude, it weirds me out that like half the Marvel actors have been in Lord of the Rings. It's so funny. It's Kate Blanchett, the guy who played the Executioner. Then we got Martin Freeman, Andy Serkis, Benedict Cumberbatch.
The Accuser.
Yeah, Ronan. And it's so many people.
Yeah, well,
like, is this like a cult?
I feel like the casting directors really do, like, they look at a lot of people's acting, and if they like a movie, then they'll contact them. In this case, the people that did Creed were contacted. So, what's his name again? Michael B. Jordan was contacted. Tessa Morgan is someone I know. What am I saying? Tessa Thompson is contacted. Who was contacted. And what's his name again? Sylvester Stallone was also contacted for Guardians of the Galaxy. They were all 3 different movies, but they loved them so much. They loved their performances so much in that film that they contacted them. I feel like the people at Marvel, once they see a film that they really like, I think they do research on the actors to see what they can play, like where they would be in the cinematic universe. At the moment, I think, like, for example, like this has, I don't know if it has anything to do with a specific film, but Mark Hamill has no job at the moment, and they're trying to fit him into the Guardians of the Galaxy because James.
Yeah, that was so funny.
So excited to see what he could play. I think he would have played a better Ego. I mean, I know that I didn't like Ego. I think I wouldn't like Mark Hamill after he played Ego, though. So yeah. Ego at all as a villain, and that plays in a big reason why I don't like Jessica Jones season 2. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, anyway, anything else to say about the Talk 'Em White Boys?
No.
I'm glad there was a little Bucky end credit scene. Did you see the meme where it's just?
We'll talk about that because we're going to talk about Killmonger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom. Killmonger. Sorry, my mom brought me salad, like she does. Let's talk about Killmonger, finally.
Yeah, just amazing. I think definitely one of the best Marvel Cinematic villains, if not the best. And I think my favorite thing about him was that he was so likable at certain points, and also that T'Challa learned so much from him. Like at the end of the day, he really was kind of doing the things that Killmonger wanted him to do, but without the violence. Just the way that they were able to play off each other and both learn things from each other, I think is the perfect dynamic that you need from a villain. And just
2 out of 2 Human Torches redeemed.
Yeah. 2 out of 2. Oh my goodness. Have you guys seen the recent Fahrenheit 451 trailer?
No.
So Michael
insanely intense for some reason.
Michael B. Jordan is going to play, I think, a guy. Guy Montag or something like that. I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
Whatever the main character is.
I haven't read the book at all. But
I haven't either.
End of the trailer, he has a lighter and he's just like, I want to burn. And then I'm just thinking, wow, he's literally bringing a better Human Torch than Fox could ever get out of him. It's the funniest because even in this film, he wants to burn all the herbs. And then in Fahrenheit 451, he says he wants to burn.
He wants to burn all the books because that's what it's about.
No, but he says that he wants to burn. He burns books, but then I'm not too sure questioning of his beliefs, but he's like, I want to burn, which is interesting. But yeah, that's
a strange trailer
about burning books, which is interesting.
Yeah, but it's just
that book.
I definitely recommend the book to both of you. It's very good.
I feel like a lot of
my friends have said it's really boring but they were forced to read it in English class, so
it's definitely slow. I mean, I didn't read it for class. I read it for fun, so that's probably why I liked it more. But it's very short and it's kind of slow, but it's such a classic.
I feel like that with 1984. I didn't read it for class, but I read it for pleasure, and I loved it. Loved it so much. But yeah. Anyway, Killmonger. Killmonger, he, this is what I was going to mention before, but I held back until we talked about Killmonger so that we could talk about the other characters. A lot of people have been saying that Killmonger is the hero. And I completely disagree. I understand what people are talking about because Killmonger, I
think his point was right. It's just the way he came about it is
not
just
just that he believed that he was right, it's the fact that in some ways he was right, but his like his methods were not right. And he wasn't, I wouldn't say that he's the hero, but in this case he's kind of the right person, and he was the one to teach them that. He's not the hero, he's not the real hero, because he's not, like, he's trying to obviously save, I don't know, the people, but he's also trying to kill people, and he's also trying to turn people against, like, it's kind of a dystopian in a way, like he's trying to form this dystopian government in a way. And so I wouldn't say that he's a hero. I would say that he would be someone that had the right intentions but also had the wrong intentions. But then when you think about it, like, Nikia, because she didn't have an army behind her, so it's understandable why people wouldn't back her up. But Nikia believed in a similar thing, except she had the right method. And so there are a lot of people that, like, not in the movie, but in real life, that are saying that Killmonger was the true hero and he should have been listened to. But really, Nikia should have been listened to by the people that are watching the film. I'm not talking about in the film, because in the film she has no army to back her up. She's not a big voice in the film. She's not too vocal because she chooses to like do her calling. But the fact that a lot of the audience are saying that Killmonger is in the right, he's kind of in the right, but he's not fully in the right. Whereas Nikia, she believes in providing these resources to people because they can. So yeah. Now I could talk.
I think the reason why, like, Killmonger resonates so well and is, like, just such a well-made villain is because, like, he's that perfect example of, like, everyone's a hero in their own story. Like, he genuinely believes he's doing the right thing, and, like, he also just has, like, the perfect backstory, and just, like, everything about him was so well executed. So.
I was just like the fact that he was 3D, you know, like, he wasn't like, you know, just like, I want this one thing and I want it now, like a lot of the other Marvel villains. Like, he did have, like, a true reason, and he, you know, like, it's just
and it wasn't like a purely revenge thing. It was like, no, I'm actually standing up for other people in the process, and, like, this isn't just about me, it's about, like, a whole group of people that have been oppressed. And like,
and I did like his last line.
Oh, his last line.
I loved his last line. My mom started crying at that.
I cried. It was amazing.
I did not cry because I was on vacation, but my mom did cry.
It was, oh man, that was a breathtaking.
Yeah, I know.
It was so sad because it's emotional. You actually don't want him to die, but then he needs to, because, like, that's where he's gonna find freedom after all the people that he's killed. And, like, it's so funny that after how many lives he's killed, he doesn't think about it anymore. Like, literally, when he goes to the ancestral plane, when he takes the heart-shaped herb and visits his dad, he says, like, no tears for me. And then he said, everybody dies. It's just life around here. And then he does cry a tear, but that's the thing. Like, he's come to accept that people die. And it's really sad because, like, I wouldn't say, like a lot of people would say, is he a villain or a victim? I wouldn't say that he isn't a villain, but he is a victim of circumstance. And that just shows the fact that, like, a king can make one mistake, but that one mistake can hurt a future generation. That's what happened in this film. And, like, yes, I love King T'Chaka because, you know, I mean, who can't like that guy? Like, he's awesome, but his method was wrong. He should have taken the boy. But then, I mean, he had to defend Zuri, and that's fine. It, like, to kill in defense of someone, like, of someone else being killed, that's fine. But at the same time, it left the boy, and that's oh man, that was heartbreaking. It was. Yeah. And Killmonger is a victim of circumstance, and so a lot of people are like, well, how can you blame him? And his worldview is messed up, but at the same time, it's not like he's fully in the wrong. He's not fully in the wrong. So.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the meme. It's just like, now I've come to kill you too for living without me all these years. And he's like, I only found out about you yesterday.
Oh man.
And it's just like, honestly, like, you should have just like, look, man, I literally only knew about you yesterday. I felt awful.
Oh man, step back, I've got the power of God and anime on my side.
Don't mess with me. I got the power of God and anime on my side.
You guys are watching us and have no idea what we're talking about. Michael B. Jordan has a guilty pleasure, and that's anime. And so the memes that have been coming out from that.
And if you don't know the "Don't mess with me, I have the power of God and anime on my side," that's a Vine, one of the best classics, except for Mess. It's F, and it's like this little middle schooler kid, and he has like one of those like finger pointers.
Yeah,
it's so funny. You just search it up on YouTube. Don't F with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side. It is one of my favorite Vines of the entire universe.
Was there
I think
ever villain, like, I know that Marvel has a really bad history with villains, but was there any other villain, like, I understand that Killmonger is probably the best, but is there any other Marvel villain that you liked for a specific reason?
I mean, okay, so I like all villains in their like different aspects, I guess. I liked Ultron because his voice was spot on.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And he was hilarious. For a robot, he was hilarious. And then I liked Ego because he was also hilarious. I mean, I didn't like anything else about him. I just thought he was funny.
Yeah.
And then
like, when it comes to being a menacing villain, is there any, like,
I guess
one that's,
I mean, maybe Bucky, if we're talking like Winter Soldier.
If we're talking Winter Soldier,
one
of
like
victim,
like wow, he was
okay,
evil.
no, Bucky is a victim. Winter Soldier is the villain. Let's get that straight right now.
Yeah,
true.
But yeah, Winter Soldier, I think he is one of the top-notch villains. I liked him. I also know way too much about the Winter Soldier backstory, so that was like.
The Vulture is one of my favorite villains that Marvel has done.
Oh yeah, I liked him. I completely forgot about the Vulture.
Everyone keeps on forgetting about him, but I love him because like, I think he also made the Spider-Man Homecoming story what it is for me. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Michael Keaton. He plays, like, he's always.
He was in Batman.
Yeah, I know he was. Like he's that type of actor that I've always wanted to be a villain, and he finally got his chance to be a villain, and he did it so well because it also has a tie back to Peter's family and stuff. And so I liked that. I also liked Loki, but Loki's kind of also an anti-hero as well.
Yeah.
Loki, duh.
And,
I think.
I mean, I don't.
Completely forgot.
I'll talk about that later in Infinity War. Why I think Loki could be considered at least an anti-hero.
Yeah, I mean,
in
Avengers, he is classified.
Depends on the movie.
He does come into his anti-hero status kind of thing because he's the god of mischief, and sometimes he wants to do the right thing, but at the same time he's the god of mischief. But he can be more.
It depends on what movie, whether I would classify him.
I'm not going to get into my Loki thing about Avengers and why he's a precious, why what he did in Avengers was not him.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've told you guys this, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have to move
to end.
I think.
Yeah, I have to go soon, like now. Very soon.
Okay. I just quickly talk about like the cons that you had about this movie. As much as it was perfect, were there any cons? Like,
I wanted more Angela Bassett, and I wanted a little more Shuri. That was it.
Do you want to say something?
I guess I was just gonna say pacing a little bit was slow for me, but like pacing. I understand why. And then some of the things like how certain characters reacted, I didn't necessarily find realistic. Like, I wasn't happy that the whole thing, that so many people followed Killmonger and that there was a full-on civil war, because like that I didn't see as very realistic. But other than that, I did really like it.
The thing that I was going to mention, like, the the gripe that I had initially was the fact that they had that civil war type of thing, but there was no resolution with Wakanda. So there was like, he did have that meeting with the United Nations thing, but they never had like a resolution with the people of Wakanda. They never cleaned up the mess after it happened. I also wanted to see a scene with him and Wakabi being like, hey, look, you betrayed me. What, like, you know, like talking.
Yeah, what did fall out of that?
If we didn't get that Wakandan scene, I at least wanted to see a scene between him and Wakabi, because Wakabi was his man. Like he was that person that always had his back. And I understand that Wakabi had the intentions of avenging his parents' death. But like I would have wanted to see more resolution between them, and that's the reason why I'm not a big fan of Wakabi, because I would have wanted to see more of that depth. And I wanted to see more scenes with Wakabi. I feel like he was a very underutilized character, and he should have gotten more scenes.
Maybe he will later on, because you don't just put like a big name actor as Daniel Kaluuya, you know, Golden Globe nominated, Oscar nominated guy, just as a side role. So. Yeah.
I potentially think that him or AO or something like that will probably be the villain in the next movie. But yeah, like I wanted more. That's the reason why I couldn't give it a full 5 out of 5 stars originally, because I wanted more resolution, because that whole stuff was messy. But not only that, I was very mad that his tribe followed the side of Killmonger originally, because Killmonger, like they said, oh, the challenge has not been finished. But then my friend explained it to me. You know how they did the Warrior Falls scene when they, with spears coming?
Yeah, like it never actually ended.
That's what they were meant to do. That's what they were meant to do. Like that tribe, his tribe, was meant to be like on Killmonger's side while he was battling what's his name again, T'Challa, and the Dora Milaje were on T'Challa's side. That's what it represented. And my mind was blown. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. He didn't just betray him like that. He was following the orders of what it would be like to do that battle. So that's what I found interesting. At first I hated it, but then the more that I look at it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm trying to think, was there any other cons that I have to mention?
I think we kind of have to wrap up. At least I have to go. So sorry to be that person.
But yeah, one thing I have to mention quickly before we leave is the Easter egg at the end. So you know Bucky? I called him the White Wolf.
Yeah.
In the comics, there is a white person that is in Wakanda that fights alongside the Black Panther, who is known as the White Wolf. This is probably...
We already saw that in the trailer, too.
Yeah, so there's the fact... So he might just be the White Wolf for Wakanda. If he doesn't become Captain America in the future, or maybe...
He'll probably be a White Wolf.
Then he'll probably just stay the White Wolf, but if not, he's probably going to be White Wolf for like 1 or 2 movies or like a couple of scenes. I don't know. But that's a really cool Easter egg. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that anyone wants to say?
Bucky looked like Jesus. That's a meme. Did you see that meme?
I feel like there was an Easter egg because he came out of the cave.
You're going to Chinatown?
Yeah.
He came out of the cave.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so I guess we can't talk about any more Easter eggs. And we've gone like 20 minutes over because this is pretty much something that we wanted to gush about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 different theaters.
So I guess we're going to conclude.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really happy we had this conversation, and we plan to do more of these in the future. I don't think I'd be able to talk about Jessica Jones season 2 because but yeah, we'll discuss more Marvel stuff in the future. We've got more announcements coming up, and we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Anything else you guys want to say?
No. Sorry.
Look up those memes I told you to.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. Oh yeah, I retweeted Jules's To Infinity and Beyond meme.
Please make this a viral hash. Please make this viral.
Guys, make this meme viral. Anyway, like we could talk about this movie all day, but we don't have the time. So if you guys want to discuss more, the comment section I think will be open. Obviously, because this is a live stream to but yeah, that's gonna be it. And we will see you next time. Bye guys.
Bye.